Well, I'm glad you're all here for children of all ages. So, I will say that Millie is a real rabbit. She lives in my backyard. And this story is based on her life. So, it's Millie's garden and the great carrot mystery. Millie is a lagomorph, which is just another name for a rabbit. She lives in the garden behind a big white house with a bright red awning. Millie loves her home in the garden, and she has a very good memory, as all rabbits do. She remembers me, and she remembers you. Now, Millie would never say this herself, because she is very shy, as most rabbits are, but she's truly quite beautiful. Her fur is soft and fluffy. She's a lovely shade of gray and white, all swirled together like a puffy cloud, floating high above in the bright blue sky. It makes just the loveliest rabbit coat. Her ears are long, but not too long. Her tail is short, but not too short. A finer example of a lagomorph cannot be found. But Millie's true beauty is her love for others and for her home. Even though she is shy, she still has many friends. Her garden is full of other animals that live and visit there too. The 3 squirrels that live in the big maple tree in the center of the garden are always stirring things up. Their names are Curly, Larry, and Mo. And they are very funny. They run circles all around the tree and up and down its trunk. They chase each other and play all day, and sometimes they stop to take a drink from the rock fountain made just right for squirrels to climb on. Squirrels love to take naps. Sometimes they take a nap under the pink spirea bush where Millie lives. She doesn't mind. She likes the company. I do wonder what squirrels and rabbits find to talk about, though, don't you? Maybe they chat about the birds that come to visit. So many birds that fly and flutter all about and dine on the best of seeds in the bird feeder hanging just over Millie's bush. There are cardinals all bright red with pointy little tufts of feathers on their heads. There are big bossy blue jays that squawk and screech. There are starlings all black and glossy with polka dots on their feathers. There are the lovely sweet turtle doves that coo, coo, coo. And of course, don't forget the little finches with red feather caps on their tiny noggins. The wrens and robins and swallows visit too. And sparrows aren't left out either. All the birds come to share the seeds and tell their tales of far-off places they have flown from just to come to Millie's garden. It's the one that they love best. It must be a very famous garden indeed. Those 3 ornery squirrels, Curly, Larry, and Mo, love to munch on the bird seeds too. But the feeder hangs on a wire and it's so hard to reach. You might think they were trapeze artists in a circus as they scamper over the fence and make grand leaps through the air, stretching out their tiny arms, reaching for the feeder with all their might. They are such acrobats and daredevils. Sometimes they land on its top and hang upside down just to make everyone in the garden laugh very loud. Ha, 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 you silly squirrels, everyone says. So many seeds fall to the ground all around Millie's bushy spirea home. But Millie doesn't eat the seeds like the birds and squirrels do, because that's not what lagomorphs find tasty. They only like greens and such. Millie loves to nibble on the yellow dandelions and the white clovers that grow in her garden. And sometimes she nibbles on bright orange carrots that mysteriously appear under her bush. There are no carrots that grow anywhere in her garden. Who could it be leaving carrot surprises for her, she wonders. It can't be the birds. They only fly around and have fun playing in the bird baths. They splatter and fluff and clean their feathers. They sing lovely bird songs and tweet as birds do, but they can't carry carrots. It can't be the squirrels either. They wouldn't know a carrot from a parsnip. And they're always too busy trying to steal seeds from the bird feeder. It must be someone that knows how much she likes sweet, munchy, crunchy orange carrots. Yum, yum, yum. Who? Oh, who could it be? Millie has a secret friend, it seems. How exciting it is. Rabbits are curious just like humans. Millie really must know. She has explored her garden looking for clues. She's looked high and low and far and wide. It's always fun to know what's on the other side of things, whether they're fences or roads or oceans, don't you think? Once she peeked under the fence around her garden, and a big, black, wet snoot was right nose to nose with her own dainty little pink snoot. Sniff, 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 the two snooters snooted to each other. Millie had found the big white poodle named Chloe that lives on the other side of her garden. Millie said to Chloe, in a language that only dogs and rabbits understand, "Is it you, Chloe, that leaves me sweet surprise carrot gifts under my spirea bush?" But Chloe confessed it was not her that left carrots under the bush. She said, "I can't get under this fence. I'm too big. And besides, if I had a tasty orange carrot, I'd eat it myself. Woof, woof, woof. I love carrots too. And I might chase you around your garden because that's what dogs like to do." Millie was stumped. If it wasn't the flighty birds or the silly squirrels or the big white poodle Chloe with a wet black nose that lives in the garden next over, then who on earth could it be? It seemed a mystery to never be solved. How perplexing indeed. Millie didn't want to wrinkle her bunny brows with worry furrows, so she just decided to think about other things for a while. No need to worry oneself about troublesome things that couldn't be solved. After all, rabbits have plenty to do to keep themselves busy and happy. So life resumed in her garden, and although the mystery of the carrots was not solved, many lazy, happy rabbit days followed. She decided to just keep nibbling her favorite greens in the garden and be grateful for the mysterious carrots whenever they appeared. It was on one of those lazy rabbit days that found Millie lolling about under her pink spirea bush when something special happened. It had been very warm, and the ground under her bush had been sprinkled with water. It was damp and cool under the shady branches, and Millie had stretched out to cool her tummy on the moist earth bed. Her belly was flat to the ground, her toes and back fully extended, and her toes in front made a little porch for her head. She looked flat as a pancake, and she had no desire to move a whisker. Not a single whisker. No, sir, not a single toe either. Rabbits, although usually busy as bees, it seems can be very lazy too. It's good to be busy, and it's good to be lazy too. Even the birds and the squirrels were quiet so as not to disturb their friend Millie, and her neighbor, the big poodle Chloe, was fast asleep and snoring sweet doggy snores on the other side of the garden fence. The garden was quiet and peaceful, and only a slight breeze stirred the air. It was a perfect afternoon. There hadn't been any carrots appear in quite a while, so it seemed to be a forgotten mystery. Just as things seemed to be put to rest, and everyone in the garden was happy and not concerned about mysterious carrots any longer, is when it happened. Millie felt footsteps on the ground. She didn't move a muscle so as not to attract attention to herself in case it was a marauding cat or a rabbit-chasing dog she didn't know. Even in one's own garden, sometimes danger can be afoot. Rabbits are always vigilant and prepared. Millie opened her eyes, just a tiny little crack see what was approaching. All she could see was 2 big feet and the legs of a human coming toward her spirea bush nest. Oh my, she thought to herself. Should I jump up and run away as fast as I can? Or should I stay still and quiet and not twitch a whisker? But before she even had time to decide what she should do, there they were on the ground beside her, the carrots. It was then that Millie remembered the lady that lives in the big white house with the bright red awning. It was her that had been Millie's secret pal all along. And so at last, the great carrot mystery was finally solved. Millie's garden is actually the lady's backyard, and she loves sharing it with all her animal friends, the tweeting, twittering birds, the silly squirrels, and especially with Millie, the lattimore. Sometimes Millie hops away to visit other rabbit friends that live in nearby gardens, but she always comes back home to the garden she loves best. Millie says, "There's just no place like my very own home. I have the best, most comfy nest under the pink spirea bush, and sometimes there are carrots, too." Thank you. So earlier at the 11 o'clock, there were more children, and I asked the children who their favorite character in the book was. Did you have a favorite character, sweetie? Millie?
Yeah.
A lot of people like Millie the best. Yeah. Yeah. What did you like about her? I don't know. Just because. Just because. Does anybody have any questions about Millie? Earlier, a little girl in the 11 o'clock wanted to know why Millie ate carrots, why Millie liked carrots. And I said, well, that's just something rabbits like to eat. Don't you eat carrots? She said, no, I don't like carrots. She stole the show.